Hey, hi, hello. Welcome back to Wild Hearthstone, specifically Wild Show matches in the Born to be Wild listener series. This week is the final regular season week of competition and has yet another fun and wacky building restriction that makes the Wild format playable. The restriction is 1 through 10 mana with 3 cards at each mana cost. Now I know it may sound crazy, but it's actually pretty simple. Let's take a look at one of my decks. Here we have LPG Mage. As you can see, it's not the perfect ladder list. However, it's pretty close, and most of the cards in it are pretty good. This would be a deck that I would consider quite good in this restricted format. It has 3 cards at each mana cost, not 3 2-ofs. You either have 3 unique cards or 3 total cards. Here's another list. I know what you're thinking. That looks crazy, perhaps even terrible, but it's actually the deck I plan to play to attempt a sweep with this week. It looks nothing like the Priest Sereno lists that you'd see on ladder, but it has proven quite impressive at killing and outvaluing basically every other deck, if not every other deck in this format. With all that said, I am quite looking forward to this week, and it should be quite exciting. Certainly more than the games you'd see on ladder. Let's check out the games. All right, we have got game 1. My Priest versus my opponent's Shaman. Here I have it sped up to 250% because my opponent decided to make it very clear what his strategy was early, which was rope every single turn, regardless of whether he played the card at the very beginning or at the very end. So turn 1, he obviously took the full turn to decide to play his 2-1, the only thing he can play, as well as toteming on turn 2. On my turn 3, I had kind of a decision, but I knew I was going to play either Hysteria or Duskbreaker if I was lucky next turn, so I decided instead of taking Dark Prophecy, I would take Grave Ruin and hope that I could get value out of that later. I think reducing it to 3 is a big deal here, because it lets me use it on 7 drops, and just have more mana to weave it in if things stick. His turn 3, he repeated his first 2 turns, which was Invocation of Frost and another totem. Here I'm really hoping for a dragon so I can play this Duskbreaker. But if I don't draw one, I'm going to have to play the Hysteria and hope to maybe kill a totem or 2. But I at least get all the power off the board. I do end up having to Hysteria because I don't have a dragon, and I am a god at Hearthstone, and I kill everything, as most police players are. Nice turn 4. This was a classic. He played that at the start of his turn, and then we'll speed it up. You can't tell it's sped up because I'm not losing my mouse, but this is at 250%. He did this the entire series across all of the games. He would play his cards and then just, go AFK. I don't know why. He roped every single turn when he had no decisions to be made and had already played his cards. It was very BM. Didn't really bother me though until afterward. Turn 5, I played my Talon because I have 5 mana and it's a 5 mana card in my hand. Very, very good play there. I mean, so far in this game, like, the only scare I had was his early game Invocations, but I was able to kill that with Hysteria, and then now I set up Talon. So at this point, outside of, like, big Shutterwalk shenanigans, I'm pretty confident. Just got to stay even or ahead on board and hope that a Shutterwalk doesn't murder me. A classical another rope from my opponent after playing all of his cards. No big deal. Wasn't going to let it bother me. Here, I didn't really think about much. I kind of just played my 6-mana minion on 6. Soulmere here doesn't get enough value. And Invocation of Skill, Discover Stuff, Healing doesn't progress my game plan as far as I think playing this 6-drop did. Good turn for my opponent here. Was able to get one of his free 10-drops out. Pretty smart inclusion in this deck, putting the Sea Giants in. He then, of course, traded down to what he could. Here, I believe I took the Sands. Yep. And this is actually one of the more interesting turns I had. I spotted a way to kill everything, and that was this cheeky little Grave Ruins into Broomstick interaction. It allowed me to kill this 8-drop and stay ahead on board. I was a little sad that I couldn't kill the full board because I knew he had 2 Bowmares in his deck. But I did what I could. cleared what I could. He eventually, whenever he decided it was time, played his Bone Mare. A little unfortunate, but I'm feeling pretty confident at this point. The only way I think I could possibly lose this matchup from here is Shuttlewalk shenanigans. This turn was a little interesting. I mean, I don't really have anything to play, so I play the Palm Reading. Don't really need a Pendant, so I take the Mass Resurrection. And then I look at my hand and I say, you know, Soul Mirror is 5. It lets me push 4. It's not the best Soul Mirror, but I think it, you know, it clears a 9/9 worth of stats unless we push face. I've got a lot of expensive cards in hand, so I figured I'll just rip it. And I don't regret it, but suppose that's something you'll see here. At this point in the game, as soon as my opponent plays this play, the game played itself from here. I mean, after that Soul Mirror, my game played itself. I'm sure you can, like, look at my hand and tell what I'm going to play. But basically, at this point, the game is over. 9-mana 9/9s are really good in Born to be Wild. This dragon is like the biggest temple play in all of like Born to be Wild Hearthstone. It's pretty incredible. So at this point, the game was kind of over. And here it was really over. He plays Bone Mare with like 2 battle cries and whiffs on his Bone Mare, and like this was his whole turn. And now he has like no threats. Like he has no way he can win from here, I don't think. So I was pretty happy. And I was like, with this, I was like looking at the board. I'm like, I'm 10 mana ahead. This thing just kills that 6/6. I didn't really have any reason to play in the south, and I didn't really want to overcommit too hard. So I played the Discover Dragon, get a little bit of tempo, and then I decided to, after I pick whatever I picked, I decided to play around his Dark Moon Rabbit, which is kind of funny. He has Dark Moon Rabbit, I think, in all of his decks. Most of them, anyway. So I put the Taunt on the outside to play around Dark Moon Rabbit and hope that just let this 9/9 farm him, really. So far, it's killed an 8/8 Rag and a 6/6 Shutterwalk. Just vibing. I mean, that minion's so good in this format. And really, I think every week it's been good in Born to be Wild. Another full rope. Although I think this turn he actually did have thoughts because he waited till the end to play his cards. This was just, like the second really interesting turn for me. I ended up roping myself. I couldn't decide if I wanted to like trade the 9/9 so I could push 7. If I wanted to play a second 9/9 and pass. If I wanted to like play a bunch of minions. I couldn't really figure out what to do. Eventually I settled on just letting my 9/9s farm him. But I don't know if that was better than trading a 9/9 and pushing 7 face. Pushing 7 face, trading a 9/9 might have been better. I don't know. After this play, I mean, like, I just felt bad for the guy. I mean, this is just a miserable play. He spent, you know, 75 seconds, the full duration of the rope, and his best play was an 8/8 that just dies for nothing. He kills a 5/6 and his 8/8 just dies. And thankfully, you know, if you look at the bottom, we started this at 7. It is currently 7:18. Because every single turn I had to wait 75 seconds for my opponent to wait to the end of the rope. So I was very happy I had lethal here and I could get to the next game because that was not fun having to sit around and wait for his roping. All right, we have game 2. Started out by an infamous Turtle Boy rope. One that we are so fondly familiar with at this point. He did make a misplay though. He forgot to end it just before the end. A little slip up there. He let it fully break. He gave me the satisfaction of that crispy rope break sound at the end there. Turn 1, I play my 1-drop, discovered the best card. Oh, and here Turtle Boy, I'll give him credit. This was an APM god move. See, he waited till the rope almost ended, and then he took his turn. That way he'd have a whole nother rope that I could then sit here through. That's 6 set. Because now I have 60 more seconds to sit here and stare. I cut it out. It's alright, alright. Turn 2, we Shadow Visions, and I could have maybe taken that Asteria. In hindsight, that might have been good. I don't know, though. Mass Palm Breeding on 3 is pretty good, too. Turn 3, he taps. And, I don't know if he does anything else or if he just sits here. You know, he plays Demonic Studies. That card actually, like, I haven't really seen it outside of the new Stealer of Souls Warlock deck, but it did pretty cool here. It allowed him to, I think, get, like, even lock Void Color stuff down. He, of course, full roped the turn after playing those cards and ended it right before the end. My turn 3, I played Palm Reading. Took a light bomb. Was hoping that would help with one of his wide boards, because I wasn't able to get a second soul mirror. This turn, he reaped the benefits of demonic studies. Very good turn. Very good turn. My turn 4. I don't really have anything to play. I thought about temporing out a 3/3, but I had like lots of options for things next turn. Like I was thinking about maybe just say like psychic streaming him to slow him down a little. So I was just ended up passing on this turn. You could maybe make the case that the 3/3 is correct, but I'd kind of doubt it. He has skull on 5, which is a bit unfortunate. Don't like to see that. This turn I had a lot of things. I had 2 5s I could play, and I had 3 6s. 4 6s I could play. I chose to play the minion, hoping that he would overextend into my Psychic Scream. He then got his random Fellord Bertrug out onto the field, which was really brutal, and allowed him to do this. So not only does a random Bertrug get him a random 5 damage with a Doomguard, but if you catch what happened there, his Claw Machine drew that Doomguard. So the Doomguard in his hand is going to be an 8/10 Doomguard. So not only has this man high-rolled a big demon, which then did 5 artificial damage to me, he then high-rolled another 8/10 the turn after. Which is convenient because he has 7 mana here and a minion in play that can attack my face. And at this point, a matchup that I should win almost all of the time, I have been scammed out of. However, I do misplay on this turn. In my head, I thought you could play Soul Mirror, and then I could attack with the Doomguard, so they would both be dead. That doesn't work. So in hindsight, I should have played Sylvanas and just YOLO'd and hoped that I stole his Doomguard. I thought, like, maybe Broom would do it. But I knew if that lived, I was dead. Very unfortunate. Yeah. If you're wondering why I keep taking screenshots, it's because I was getting really bored playing against Turtleboy when we would rope every turn. 30 minutes in, you're game 2. So I was talking with a friend, occasionally sharing progress updates on how it was going. No actual advantage or co-op help. It was just keeping me sane, having to deal with the roping. But yeah, game 2 I was scammed. I could have gone for the Sylvanas reverse steal scam to stay in it, but that opening was brutal for a deck that's really quite bad. And that's game 2. It really sucks because I wanted to sweep with Priest, but hard to beat that, I suppose. That's a lot of damage really fast. On to game 3. An unfortunate game 2, but nevertheless, we are on to game 3. My turn 1 featured a Kobold Librarian. Very fortunate, very lucky. My opponent's turn 1 featured a 1.5-minute break for him to cut his toenails and a Kobold Librarian. On my turn 2, I will be sending this Kobold Librarian to the dome and tapping as soon as I have the ability to do so. Ooh, you catch that? Ooh, that was a really precise click. That rope hung on there. That rope hung on. He hit it just at the right time. Good snipe from him. Set my Kobold face and tapped, and it's now his turn 2. His turn 2 features him trading, and I believe playing another Kobold Librarian. Pretty simple stuff. Don't know why I didn't tap. Guess Kobold's fine there, but tapping's uses all your mana, which feels better, but won't really matter much. My turn 3, another great turn. I've had great turns so far. Very happy with this. My turn 3 Sense Demons will allow my turn 3 Void Caller. Turn 4 Void Caller. He had a turn 3 Void Caller. His turn 4, I believe he life tapped. Send his minions to the face, and then I think ended his turn. How about that? Don't see that very often. Here, this turn sucked. Everything about this turn was gross. Was this good? I don't know if that was good, because let's him attack first. I didn't tap because I have so much mana in my hand, and I feel like fatigue or health might matter. Maybe I should have tapped just to have something better to play than Defile. I don't know. But it's, game's still doing alright so far. Still curving out. Still managing. Still vibing. Can't complain. My opponent's turn 5. He taps, plays Demonic Project, sends his attack in to weaken my minion. On my turn 6, I have two choices. Choose to play the Emperor so that I can play an Archwill. I chose to play the Emperor on 6 so I could Willow on turn 7. Very good. Claw Machine here is a little unfortunate. It allows him to kill my Emperor, but that's alright. It's not a big deal. I get to Willow on a fairly empty board. Very happy with that. So far, we've curved out kind of the nuts. And our deck has just a lot more like cohesive and works well together late game. And speaking of late game, he just lost a lot of his. So at this point in the game, I'm feeling great. Outside of the fact that we're almost 40 minutes into this, series, and it's the third game, I'm living life. Here he gets another good demonic studies. Card really performed well for him in this series. Gets a big demon here, and that allows him to have a play, I suppose. I don't know what the rest of his hand was though. My turn 8, I think I misplayed here really. I think I'm supposed to like tap or pass on the tap and play the Kartut so that I like curve out better into this N'Zoth. But I'm pretty sure I ended up playing this Void Lord. Yeah. I think the Kartut was probably better so that N'Zoth, did something when I needed to be able to play it later. But I mean, I did spend all my mana this way, so it's hard to complain. But I think if I Kartut this turn, I can Void Caller Kartut next turn, which is 9 mana because one's reduced, and I think that's probably the best line. Now, if I Void Caller Kartut, it's not nearly as good because I don't have a demon to pull out. Now, I'm really far ahead on board, but with his Willow, he will now basically even it out. His Willow is much less good than mine, but the Void Caller is good enough that if he does another demon in hand, he's got a taller attack board, a bigger board for sure. Here I decide, yeah, I'm going to tap because this 5+4 is gross without a demon in hand. Probably as a result of the misplay I made last turn. It also gives me less attack power this turn, which is a real shame. So I end up tapping, and I should have again played the Kartut. Poor N'Zoth is just getting left in the dust here. I think these are some misplays that I really should have got these Kartuts out. So my N'Zoth isn't worthless. But so far, we're vibing. This turn, he played some weird soul fragment stuff that should never be in a wild competitive deck, but it's alright. I did alright here. I think this game was really not that well played by me, actually. Because looking back, I like Godfrey'd this turn. Missed 2 damage here from going face before Godfreying. And I could have just killed things that weren't the Void Caller, and I could have just not, and then here I decided that instead of winning, I would lose. I pulled up his deck list. I looked through all of his list. I said, all right, is there any way he could punish me playing the Merchant here? Because this way, if I play it here, I can have a Gul'dan to play next turn and have one for the next Merchant. So I looked through his whole cards. I scrolled through his Soul Fragment stuff. I go past his BGH. I go past his Claw Machine. Oh, we're good. Nothing. I don't know if I was tired. I don't know if I just assumed that he'd have Void Lord at his 9 mana slot, but he does not. He has not Void Lord, but Ysera the Dreamer. And as soon as he played that card, I realized that I just threw the game away, which is truly unfortunate. I mean, that's it's like a bronze 2 mistake, really. I was very upset with myself. I just did not play this game well. And that was the iceberg, the tip of the iceberg there. I mean, that's just, instead of having 3 Gul'dans, I now have 0, and I have a N'Zoth I have yet to set up because I haven't played any of these Kartut defenders. Pretty great stuff. So I take my last ditch effort here. I set him to 9 and hope that if I make a sticky board, sometimes I get there. And hope that he doesn't have a way to deal with it. But much like every game, much like this entire game, rather, he's going to continue to curve out and shut me out of the water here. And really, there's no one but to blame but myself. I looked at like 26 of his cards, and I just like was like, all right, I'm just gonna play it. I don't know if I like just assumed or if I forgot or what, but I threw the game by playing that merchant when he has Ysera the Dreamer at 9 mana cost in his Warlock deck. That is truly unfortunate. Who needs Voidlord anyway, really? I mean, more power to him. But yeah, that's the story of this game. The N'Zoth plays were questionable, but they're not like the end of the world. It's the merchant that really killed this one. He played his Gul'dan here and kind of blew me out of the water. He then took a nice break to go watch his favorite TikToks and kind of just really experience the feeling of winning, because I'm sure he doesn't do it very often. Once his TikTok was over, he eventually came back to his computer, sat down in his chair, and got ready to snipe the rope at just the perfect time. Looking at my next turn, I kind of have to like hope for some Plague of Flames nonsense, because I wasted my Godfrey, which is currently still in play. And I don't really have a way to do anything else. Like, this N'Zoth probably does keep me alive in hindsight, but I don't ever win with only one N'Zoth. So maybe I actually do win with one N'Zoth. I don't know if he had a N'Zoth or not on his list, but I don't think I win with one N'Zoth. So I tried making the board as big as I could and hoping I would kill Mal'Ganis and some big demons. Unfortunately, I killed his Taunt, which brought a demon out, and his Void Curler, which brought a demon out. So I think I just like basically added power to his board. So yeah, that'll be the story of this game. This game will be over. Did not stop my opponent from using all 75 seconds of this turn so that he could make his bed before ending the game. That is the GG's on the game 3. I have no one but to blame but myself for that one. Really can't complain. I deserve to lose for the mistake that I made. Game 4. We have a spicy Murloc Paladin versus a spicy Warlock, I suppose. On my turn 1, I played a Grimskull Oracle. On my opponent's turn 1, he went downstairs and made a milkshake. On my turn 2, I hero powered and sent phase 1. On my opponent's turn, he went for a jog around his house to keep his steps up for the day, and then curved out with an even lock. My turn 3, I had a trade here. I could have played Grimscale plus hero power, but 3/3 is just better. I didn't love my last 2 draws either. Tip of Scales and...
Yo, bro, come here. Help me out with this. Take a look at this.
What you need, bro?
Quick, bro. I got 3 mana and a coin.
Yeah, hold on. I'm thinking.
Quick, bro.
Stay calm, bro. Stay calm. We'll get there.
Dude, hurry up. We only got 60 seconds left.
I'm screwed, bro.
I got it. After 72 seconds of calculation, I have come to the conclusion that Coin Void Caller is indeed the correct play. Oh my gosh, you're right. Thank you.
If I had to look at a hand like that and figure it out, I mean, 3 mana and a coin, what's the move? 75 seconds? I think I'd flunk out of 5th grade. I mean, truly would flunk out of 5th grade. All right, turn 4, play my lens, and I get a nice 2 mana Libram of Hope. Not ideal. Would have preferred a 2 mana Tip the Scales, but it is what it is. Can't complain about a 2 mana 8/8 with Divine Shield Taunt. The only satisfying thing to happen this entire series, right here. My opponent plays out his BGH just before I can play a 2 mana 8/8 Divine Shield Taunt. I mean, that's the good stuff. They don't get much better than that. I'm not winning this game, but they don't get much better than that. I mean, truly just a special turn. Sea Giant's a little brutal. Guess that's the punish for me making a bunch of 1/1s. And here, trades down and gets a ton of stats, as his deck does. Doing what I can. I decided to trade, send 3 to the face. I don't even know if that was correct, honestly. I couldn't tell you. Don't really know. Probably not, but also probably. It's hard to say, but also I have no real way of winning this game. He even lock on 2, Void Collar on 3, Sea Giant on 4. It's pretty good stuff. Turn 6, he has Void Collar plus tap. Yeah, then this game's pretty dead. This game is pretty dead. I would need some good anything can happens to win this game, and I don't think I'm going to have enough time for that. Here, I believe I trade into this 5-2 and Bone Mare, which, you know, that is what you got to do. It's the best, like, it's the best way to pretend like you can still win, you know, send stuff face and hope for a scam. The problem is I've drawn all my Murlocs, so this tip of scales on 8 doesn't even actually really do much. I think I have 4 Murlocs in the deck currently. Not the best. If I could have kept a Grimscale in play, obviously I would have taunted about the other 1/1, but I had to trade all but 1 down. Yeah, he's just making good plays. Got lots of good answers, lots of good stats, and he knows that he's won, so he's obviously, you know, for the last 2 or 3 plays here, he's stopped roping because he knows it's over. And he doesn't get any advantage in his mind for roping anymore. Not that he ever did to begin with. Tyrion, the best attempt to pretend like I'm still in this game. And I believe I die on this turn? I don't actually remember. I think I die here. Yeah, I died here. That was brutal. This game is tough. Send another screenshot over to the homie so that he can feel bad for me. I don't know. Here I like play a lens just for kicks and giggles, but I don't think anything gets me out of here. Not the best lens this deck's ever seen. And that is the game. Actually, that's not a bad lens because the strongman would be 0. But yeah, so that's the series. Hope you guys enjoyed. That was a 55-minute series. That was only 4 games long. All in all, I had a good time. You know, truly just an excellent time. Yeah. Just a great one. Just a great time.